Like I said again, if there's somebody who wants to have a coffee and wants to bring it inside, you're allowed to. Okay, so you can bring your coffee or juices inside, so you don't need to network outside. We'd like you to come here and spend some time with our speakers during breaks, with our sponsors who came all the way from different parts of the world to exhibit. Lawyers are here. So this is the right place for you to get this information that you came here to look for. But let's go further, and our next speaker is a friend of mine, a very good presenter. He spoke at other events as well. Is Topp Jirayut. He's the co-founder and the CEO of Bitkub Capital, and also the board of director for the Thai FinTech Association. So he's been very instrumental, and it is our honor to have him as our speaker because he's been very, very instrumental in the regulations here in Thailand when it comes to either cryptocurrency or on the fintech side. And he's amazing. I mean, if you just listen to him now in the presentation, I am sure you all will be very, very happy. Well, he's also one of the co-founders way back in, I'm not sure, I think 2013, is it, Topp, 2013? He started with coins.co.th, so he's one of the early adapters. And we like working with him because his passion for this industry is amazing. So people who are in the space, in the blockchain space, it'll be nice for you to connect with all these influential people and get to know them better. So without any further ado, let's invite Topp Jirayut to come on stage to do his presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sure. Hello everyone, Sawadee Krab. My name is Topp Jirayut. So today I have about 15 minutes to share with you guys Bitkub's secret master plan. So connecting the physical to the digital world. A bit about, quickly about my background. Excuse me guys, the clicker is not working. Next slide please. Next slide, please. A bit about my background. I've been in the industry for 6 years now. I started my first company called coins.co.th back in 2013. It was one of the very first Bitcoin wallets, very similar to Coinbase, but based here in Thailand. So I had to go through a lot of different crises because imagine back then regulators thought Bitcoin was a Ponzi scheme. Right? AMLO officers, Bank of Thailand, Revenue Department. Over the past 3-4 years in particular, have been spoken to over 500 stages already. So the awareness in Thailand is great. And I left the company at the end of 2000 process, but eventually we got there. We were one of the very first country in the world to issue out crypto licenses. So Thailand regulation is very, very advanced right now. And background, I read economics at school. So quickly about blockchain, I assume all of you here already understand blockchain, but just to give you a very quick overview that it is a very disruptive platform. It is an infrastructure or protocol that they don't come very often. The one that changes the world, right? The first platform was the internet in 1975. There was the first infrastructure that allows people like Bill Gates to build an application inside, like software, right? Microsoft. And he changes the world 50 years fast forward, right? The second infrastructure was the internet, TCP/IP. There was world's second infrastructure that allows people like Mark Zuckerberg to build another application on top of this infrastructure. Right? Allow people like Larry Page to build another application on top. Then 20 years fast forward, those guys changes the world, right? Every company, every industry is using the internet. 2009, right? Blockchain is the third infrastructure, and Bitcoin is only the first application. And it has only been around for 10 years. It is able to shake up the hardest industry to disrupt, which is banking. Banks are panicking right now. Right? Facebook is launching Libra Association very soon. So this is a very disruptive platform that we are talking about here. Right? Application of blockchain called ICO was jumped into the VC space 2 years ago. People were able to raise funding from an ICO, right, in 1 year, combined, more than the whole of the VCs combined, right? So it is very disruptive. And just like the other past platforms, in the future, every company, every business will be using this technology. Just like the internet is already way beyond publishing. This is the most important slide to explain blockchain technology, in my analogy. If you look at my right-hand side first, 20 years ago, we only had the first generation of the internet, or the first layer called TCP/IP. It is a protocol or a language that allows us to transfer any kind of information without the need of intermediaries or middlemen. Right? We used to have traditional telegrams, post office, the way we communicate, write letters. But once the world had TCP/IP, it allows us to create things like Facebook, Skype, Line, building applications on top of this infrastructure, right? And then 20 years fast forward, we are able to digitize any kind of information, regardless of the format. Whether we're advertising, communicating, everything is online. And whatever is online, the velocity of it would be much more efficient, because we can operate 24/7, 7 days a week, without the need of middlemen getting up to work every morning. There's no expense on every transaction that we communicate with information. So the world is much more efficient. 20 years fast forward, now we're having the second generation of the internet, or the second layer called the blockchain, which is another protocol, right, that is running on the back end. But the difference is blockchain allows us to transfer any kind of value without the need of intermediaries or middlemen, right? So in the future, going forward, we are going to be able to digitize and tokenize any kind of value, regardless of format, online. And whatever we uploaded, the velocity of value would be much more efficient and quicker, because we don't need to rely on intermediaries, can operate 24/7, can transact with zero expense, right? More efficient, zero deadweight loss going forward. So intermediaries like banks are going to be like traditional telegrams. The market cap would be smaller and smaller in the physical world, because they cannot compete with digital world, right? We will have Google of tomorrow, Facebook of tomorrow that are dealing with value, that the market cap would be more, bigger and bigger going forward in the digital world. So 20 years ago, we had the information web. Now we're about to have the financial web, right? The value web. The reason why TCP/IP didn't disrupt the value sharing industry 20 years ago, only the information sharing, was because even though it allows us to communicate more efficiently, but it does it in a way that it creates more copies, create digital copies, right? If I ask you to email me that photo or that PDF file on your laptop to me, once I've received your photo, you still have the same copy in your local terminal, right? So it does it in a way that we communicate more efficient online, but it does it in a way that it creates more copies, more and more and more copies. But if we talk about information, we can have as many copies as we want, because it doesn't destroy our economy. It is actually a good thing, because we're maximizing communication, right? But if it became a 1,000 baht note, right, or a dollar bill, and imagine that we digitize dollar bill in the same manner that we digitize that photo. And once I email that, a dollar bill to you, I still have that same dollar bill on my laptop. Imagine what would be the first thing I do, right? The first thing would be I would quit my job, right? Second, I would sit at home and email that $1 note to everyone I know. Then within one day, Thailand would become Venezuela, right? Right? 1,000,000% inflation. It doesn't work with value. It destroys our economy if we have, copies, multiple copies. That's why TCP/IP did not disrupt the value sharing economy 20 years ago. But right now we're about to have the second layer of the internet, second generation of the internet. Once we place the second layer of the internet called the blockchain, it solves this issue, double spend problem, meaning that this is the first time in human history that we are able to digitize that $1 bill in the same manner that we did for photo. And once I email that $1 bill to you, that same copy on my local terminal would be no longer there, disappear. So we can transact peer-to-peer going forward without the need of middlemen. Another way to explain this is if you're living in the physical world and you're meeting someone on the street, whatever you're handing over to this person, whether it is a dollar bill or diamonds, gold, any kind of value, once you hand it over, based on the law of physics, that physical object would be on the other person's hand. You don't need to go, hey, I need to transfer this, a dollar bill to this guy. Can you please come and facilitate this transaction for me? And this guy would say, okay, I will come and facilitate the transaction for you, but it will take 10% of it, right? Imagine I hand over, 100 baht. This guy would hand over 90 baht to the other person. We would not do this in the physical world, right? You would not say, I don't need this guy to help me with this transaction, because based on the law of physics, people cannot cheat. The object would be on the other person's hand. But online, we are actually doing this right now. When I want to transfer a dollar bill to the other person, I would say, banks, can you come and facilitate this transaction for me? And bank would be like, yes, I will, but I would take a cut on this transaction. But what I'm trying to say is, once we have this blockchain technology, we can actually replicate the same action online. Right? My favorite quote is this: 20 years ago, internet creates digital abundance, meaning that whatever we uploaded, we can create more and more copies, as much as we want, right? Blockchain, for the first time in human history, creates digital scarcity. We were not able to achieve digital scarcity in the past, because whatever we uploaded, we can create more copies, right? But this is the first time that this digital scarcity is happening in our world. So right now, when it comes to once the environment is ready, the technology is ready, blockchain creates digital scarcity. So here I want to share with you the secret master plan of Bitkub, connecting the physical to the digital world, right? If you look at the information sharing sector 20 years ago, this picture already happened, right? They were able to migrate people from the physical world of information to the digital world of information. Remember, before we needed newspapers, editor to communicate, the physical entity to share information, to advertise, to communicate. But once we have the infrastructure, the environment, we were able to migrate people online or digitize any kind of information, whether it is communication, advertising, PDF file, Microsoft Word, online. And whatever we uploaded online, the velocity of it is much more efficient. Right, the economy is able to move much faster, because every transaction that we transact for information, we don't need to wait for another person to facilitate the transaction for us. The middleman, right? The traditional telegram, post office, we don't need these guys. Right? People are able to communicate using TCP/IP. There are different applications that are building on top, like Facebook, Line, Skype, right? Allow us to transfer information frictionless. So at Bitkub, we are trying to do exactly the same thing, but with value, not with information. So our goal is to migrate people from the physical world of value to the digital world of value. But in order to do this, there must be the right steps in order to achieve this. The first step for migrating people from the physical world to the digital world of value is to first build a bridge, right? So people can migrate to the digital island, right? But to build a bridge, this bridge has to be strong. A weak footing on either the physical world ends or the new world end. If we have a weak foundation, the bridge is going to collapse. So the most important thing, the very first important step, is to build a very strong bridge. And to build a strong bridge, we have to make sure that both sides of the bridge are in compliance with the worlds they are living in. If we look at the physical world first, the footing on this end, we have to make sure that the old world is happy. In other words, we have to make sure that the AML, KYC, right, know your customers, anti-money laundering, is in compliance with the regulation. That is the reason why we spent so much of our energy getting the license from the Thai SEC, to be able to comply, to make sure that this footing on this end is strong. Then after the footing on this end is strong, the next step is to make sure that the footing on this digital world is also strong. We have to make sure that the user experience is very easy to use. So a crypto company is not a fintech company or just a traditional finance company. We have to strike a balance, right? We cannot move fast and break things like Facebook because we are dealing with people's money, very different industry. And we cannot move too slow like traditional banking, right? That's why this bridge has to be in balance. We have to strike a balance between moving fast and break things and making sure that we are fully in compliance and move slow and dealing with people's money. That is what a crypto company is trying to build, right? A very strong bridge. Once this bridge is strong, people can migrate very easily to the digital world. Imagine with my first company in 2013, people had to swim over to be able to buy assets on this digital island. It was very, very hard to buy and sell Bitcoin back then. And some of the bridges collapsed, right? Exchanges got hacked because the bridges were not strong enough. When people were crossing over, the bridge collapsed. So we are very lucky now that the bridges around the world currently this year is very strong because the regulators stepped in, right? And there are more resources, more talent working in this industry, right? And this bridge doesn't mean that we only need to build one bridge. To speed up the migration process, we have to build as many bridges as we can so people can migrate at a faster rate. What does it mean by that? It meant that we should, so what is a bridge first? A bridge is a cryptocurrency exchange. This is a bridge because we are a platform that allows people to exchange the fiat currency, what they're using on the physical world, to the digital currency very easily, right? So Bitkub.com is actually a bridge, a very, very, very strong bridge, compliant on both worlds, right? But Bitkub.com doesn't mean that we should be the only bridge because we need to speed up the migration process. Once we have the license, we are able to partner up with traditional finances, right? Recently, we just signed an MOU with one of the leading stock brokerage firm in Thailand to connect API, right? To allow traditional stock brokers to be able to buy and sell digital assets. We were not able to do this partnership in the past without the license. But now this industry is being legitimized. We can connect to traditional finances. There's no point reinvesting the capex that banks and traditional brokers have been investing for us for years. We should partner up and tap on existing infrastructure. There's no point building Bitcoin ATM because there are 7 billion ATMs already. Why don't we just partner up and open a new option for people to cash in, cash out on existing ATMs? It would take us another 10 years to place ATMs Bitcoin ATM around the world. That is too slow. That is why we should connect as many bridges with the traditional world as we can by doing partnerships with existing infrastructure or traditional finances to speed up the migration process, right? This is the first step. The second step is, how do we incentivize people to migrate over to the digital world? Because they might already be happy in the old world, right? So to incentivize people, we need to make sure that the buildings on the digital world, there are more buildings, more fancy buildings, more kind of assets on this digital world than the physical world to incentivize people to move to a new home, to a new place. To do that, that is why our second company, right? Bitkub Blockchain Technology. This is an ICO portal company. In Thailand, you guys cannot go public yourself anymore, right? You have to go through an ICO portal. It is a regulated, primary, Goldman Sachs 2.0, right? Instead of underwriting securities, this ICO portal is responsible for underwriting any kind of assets, helping the clients to go public, whether it is a condo, real estate, gold, diamonds, celebrity reputation, intellectual property, right? In the future, we can digitize and tokenize, tangible and intangible asset going forward, not just tangible asset, and trade them in the same manner that we are trading stocks, except it is T+0 settlement time, right? And this fractional ownership, this receiving dividends, this concept of stocks can be applied to a wider class of assets. In the future, companies' equity would be a subset of the whole digital asset. That is why in Q3 this year, the Thai Traditional Stock Exchange is applying for the same license as Bitkub in Q3. They're moving towards digital asset exchange, just like SIX exchange in Switzerland, right? Just like NASDAQ opening up another digital asset exchange very soon. So the second entity is responsible for creating as many buildings on this side as possible. In other words, tokenization of all kinds of assets, whether it is tangible or intangible asset. Real estates, celebrity reputation, intellectual properties, right? We can trade them. We can co-own them, this piece of asset in the world. Meaning that going forward, we will have an order of magnitude more financial products than what we currently have today, right? So once we have more buildings on this side, people will start to migrate over, right? But we need to make sure that there are people showing them how to cross this bridge safely also. That is why we have media arm, as our partners under this group. We have a company called Siam Blockchain, which is our biggest partner. We are the biggest media firm in Thailand, just like CoinDesk, but for Thailand. To educate people, we have Bitkub Academy to actually educate people, regulators, company builders, right, traders, anyone, right, how to cross this bridge safely. To map this into this analogy would be to create a map to show them where to cross the bridge and how to cross this bridge safely. That is why we need, the educator, right? That's why we're here today, as a conference to educate the ecosystem. So once people are fully migrated to the digital world and living in the digital world, the last step is to make sure that we build roads, right? Roads, so people can travel efficiently in this, island. And to build roads and local infrastructure is to build what we call DEX, Decentralized Exchange Protocol, right? Because once everything is tokenized or digitized, we're not dealing with fiat anymore. Then this is where DEX comes in, right? Decentralized Exchange Protocol. Some people ask me, what is the difference between Decentralized Exchange Protocol and a Centralized Exchange Protocol? A Centralized Exchange Protocol is a bridge connecting between the physical and digital world. If we are still using fiat, we need a centralized exchange to convert as a gateway, as a bridge. But once the world is fully on digital, we don't need a centralized exchange because we're not dealing with fiat currency, right? DEX will be growing. The reason why DEX is not growing is because it's wrong timing. People are still using fiat. We are still only at the first phase, crossing this bridge. People are not yet living in the digital world. But once people are living in the digital world, DEX will be growing very fast because people can exchange tokens in a frictionless manner without the need of a centralized entity, right? Decentralized exchange protocol. So once we're fully living in the digital world, I want you guys to imagine the world where we're living in this island now will be very different. Imagine, right now we are driving to Central, right? Central Group, very similar to Walmart in America here, right? And once you do shopping, your grocery there's a point system to keep the value in a closed loop system called the one card. We have the one card points at Central Group, right? Where you can use the points to pay for your shopping. But once you drive, out of Central to fill up your gas tank at a petrol station, PTT, right? There's another point system in a closed loop system called blue card, where you can use this blue card for, pay for your petrol station, but within their own ecosystem. But the current issue is that these point system, value system, are speaking in different languages. Just like information 20 years ago, where traditional telegrams cannot communicate with radio, television, different owners, different languages, their translation fee. Value is following the same footsteps right now. They're communicating in different languages. When we're transferring money between banks locally, there are different owners, different color, different languages. We have to pay translation fee, right? When we transfer money from banks to PayPal to SWIFT, it's all closed system. But once we're living in the digital world, I want you guys to imagine that what the DEX will be running on the back end, Decentralized Exchange Protocol. Meaning that we can, for the first time in human history, use the central point, the one card point, to pay for your petrol station We can use, Blue Card to go and shopping at Central Group, right? Whoever is flying all the time, your air points that is about to be expired, you can use your air points to pay for your electricity bill, water bill, your student tuition in the same language, in the same manner, right? But imagine a 13-year-old, he plays his game and he collected 10 swords. And these 10 swords would have value in his game, in his ecosystem. Have you guys heard that children can actually sell games item for real money? These items have real value in their ecosystem. But imagine that 13-year-old gets hungry and he walks over to Burger King in the future. He can pay for his burger with his 10 swords, right? But what is running on the back end is what we call a decentralized exchange protocol. What is arriving on Burger King's wallet would be in the format that Burger King wants. In the future, could be Burger King coin, or Bitcoin, or eBaht online. So Burger King doesn't need to know what that 13-year-old pays, what format that 13-year-old pays for his burger. Burger King doesn't need to care. They only know that whatever arriving on their wallet is in the format that Burger King wants, right? What is running on the back end is real-time exchange, right? Decentralized exchange protocol. So in the future, people will not be carrying physical wallet. People will be carrying e-wallets, right? And once you open this e-wallet to buy a coffee at Starbucks, this e-wallet would show up just like stocks, a portfolio of your net worth, a fractional ownership of Cristiano Ronaldo, fractional ownership of intellectual property, Bitcoin, or whatever. And once you're about to pay for your Starbucks, this e-wallet would auto-optimize for the most cost-effective coin to pay at that market rate, at that moment for your coffee, right? But imagine, say, e-wallet would say Cristiano Ronaldo coin is the most cost-effective to pay for your coffee right now. But what is arriving in Starbucks wallet would be in the format that Starbucks wants. Could be in Starbucks coin in the future, without caring or without knowing what you're paying for your coffee, what format you're paying for your coffee with, right? This is much more efficient when we're living in the digital world. Just like information, right now we are living in the digital world for information, right? I don't care what language you speak. I speak PDF, you speak Microsoft Word. We can communicate. The content doesn't change, right? So going forward, value would be in the same manner, right? So the world will be moving at a much quicker rate because there's no deadweight lost, there's no inefficiency because everything is online. Google of tomorrow, Facebook of tomorrow will be bigger. And this is Bitkub's secret master plan. Thank you, guys.
Thank you everyone a lot. We have a coffee break, half an hour. Please enjoy food and coffee, tea, and let's gather here 15 minutes.